All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for waiting patiently. Up next, as you all know, we finished the finals for the Air Force side of the bracket. We did tell you we had a special VIP with us today. Captain Simon Pena will be introducing the Chief Master Sergeant in the Air Force, Joanne Bass, and they'll be having a conversation between the two of them about Air Force esports, or I'm sorry, esports in the Air Force. So I'm going to send it over to Captain Pena, and here he is.
Cool. Hey, everyone. So my name is Captain Simon Pena. If you've been engaging with me in the chat, it's been a lot of fun to be working with you on this. Real quick, we're going to get over to the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Chief Joanne Bass, in just a moment. First, there's a couple words I wanted to say. Number one, I want to thank a lot of people for making this program a success. So Staff Sergeant Delbert Schwarzentroober, Staff Sergeant Malik King, Senior Airman David Kennedy, the entire U.S. Army esports team, of course, Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Joanne Bass herself and her team, Chief Master Sergeant Ron Howell, Master Sergeant Jared Denton, and Master Sergeant Nathan Perry. You guys have been incredible. We couldn't have done this event without you, and we're really grateful for everything you've done to make this event a tremendous success. It's been exciting to see all the airmen display their passion and talent up until now, including seeing that near upset with Malmstrom and Minot. That was truly extraordinary. So we're really happy with how things have gone so far. Real quick, before I introduce Chief Bass, I would like to take some real quick time with you to celebrate 1 year of operation and the journey that led us here. So the whole esports program, Air Force esports program, was founded under that name in September 2019 to facilitate connectivity among airmen. And real quick, there were some incredible people who made that all possible over 1 year ago. So Lieutenant Matthew Morris, Senior Master Sergeant Shannon Lee Hill, Staff Sergeant Delbert Schwarzentroober, Tech Sergeant Justin Brossman, Lieutenant Ashlyn Zurich, Senior Airman Justin Badal, Staff Sergeant Malik King, Miss Jacqueline Vesey, Mr. Alexander Garcia, McMurray University with Coach Matt Tarpley, Embry-Riddle University, Abilene Christian University, and then all our amazing leadership who made this happen. So Major Tamika Payne, Colonel Brent McLam, Colonel Ed Sumangill, and then on the Air Force Global Strike Command portion, Chief Master Sergeant Charles Hoffman and General Timothy Ray. All those people had an amazing part in bringing this to life across the past year, and we wouldn't be here without them. So I wanted to take the time to recognize them and honor them for their efforts. Esports, like I said, was founded in September of 2019 under the name Air Force Esports. Our vision statement was to bring esports to every base. Our goal is to eventually see esports on every base, and to that end, we quickly earned from our wing commander, Colonel Ed Sumangill, $100,000 in innovation funds to build our first esports arena. We then submitted to and won at the IMSC Spark Tank for 2020. And that was awesome because what it did is it attracted the attention of Air Force Global Strike Command and the Air Force Services Center. And we ended up getting picked up by them as their pilot program for esports in the Air Force. As of now, 8 bases across the Air Force have esports arenas on their bases, which would be Dias, Barksdale, Minot, Malmstrom, Fairchild, Effie Warren, Aviao, and Cannon. And total base funding for this has been $945,000, which is just fantastic to see. So across the time that we won Spark Tank and then started running our own pre-qualifying and championship events, we worked very closely with the Air Force Services Center and the Air Force Global Strike Command to produce an Air Force implementation of our Air Force esports program. We're super happy to announce that that is called the Air Force Gaming League. It is run by a civilian company called Rally Cry, and it is an almost $2 million contract. Along this line, we changed our name to Air Force Global Strike Esports out of respect to them. Rally Cry is awesome. They have an insane pedigree within the esports world. They are the best of the best, and the Air Force could not ask for a better civilian contract company to work with. We also want to throw out a huge thanks to the Air Force Gaming Airmen volunteers for stepping up to help out with the program. with Rally Cry and the Air Force Gaming League. We're really grateful for them for volunteering their free time to help make that a success. And we know that they're going to do great things with the Air Force implementation of our program. As it is, the AFGL program under Rally Cry is focused on providing gaming for active duty military servicemen and servicewomen. In addition to that, however, our program, what we founded way back in September of 2019, also focuses on providing esports for the big airman concept. So veterans, retirees, wounded warriors, dependents, ROTC, and much more, in addition to civilian allies such as university and high school students and commercial esports industries and organizations. Our goal is to provide an esports environment where in-person esports and connectivity can occur on a daily basis across every single base of the Air Force. We would love to see esports arenas available where squadrons, booster clubs, private orgs, interspace clubs, and groups of airmen and much, much more can reserve the facilities and equipment for esports activities. And those 8 bases have done an amazing job of facilitating this. The ones I mentioned earlier, for example, Minot is set to open a $250,000 esports arena towards the early spring of 2020. And it's just been an amazing journey to see. Ultimately, in-person connectivity is most important to us. There are many research documented and scholarly works that demonstrate the role of in-person esports and how it affects positively mental health, well-being, sense of community and place, adaptive coping, and so much more. It also greatly bolsters inherent military skills that all airmen and the Air Force in general benefits from. But a lot of that can be discussed in a little bit. Without further ado, I'm super excited to welcome Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Joanne Bass, to join me. We began working on this a while ago, and I remember reading her reply to me when we first discussed this and feeling like it was the greatest day of my life and career. She has such a heart for airmen, and her values align directly with the values of our program. And so we're super humbled and grateful and excited to have her join us today. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Absolutely. Hey, Campania. Is your degree in marketing, by the way?
No, so actually, I have a poli sci degree. I did finish an MBA in just recently, a couple weeks ago, though, which was super fun.
The way you outlined all of that, I'm like about to double down on esports.
I'm super glad that you are, ma'am, and we're super excited to have you here with us tonight. The gameplay and the passion we've seen from our airmen, as seen in the chat, but also in the way that they performed in this tournament, has been incredible. And having you here to witness that just means the world to them and us. So thank you for that, ma'am.
Absolutely. Hey, I'll be honest, it's been pretty cool to be able to watch bits and pieces of it. I did not understand or really know about Rocket League, to be honest, but after I saw that first score by Destiny, I was like, I'm sold.
You're in.
So yeah, I'm in. Haven't played it. My 14-year-old plays Fortnite for hours and hours on end, but I told my husband, I said, I might have to start to play around with this Rocket League thing and try to get pretty good. Maybe when I get down to or get up to Minot, I can play some of those players there in
Oh,
person.
that would be so awesome, ma'am. And I will say, I've heard that you have a bit of a history as a premier gamer. Is that true?
Only in Miss Pac Man.
Hey, every game has the ability to be an esport. And
Yeah,
Pac-Man actually has a great historic competitive scene behind it. So that's OG talent right there.
it is. And I think it's making a comeback, or at least I'm going to say it is.
I definitely hope it is. But if you were to pick up Rocket League, Smash Bros, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, those are all games that we've had good success with in the past. They're near and dear to the hearts of our airmen. That would be fantastic. One thing I wanted to discuss with you real fast is just your perception of esports in general. I know that you had an amazing post that came out the other day with the whole Konami code going on there. What can you tell me about what you know about esports and how you see it in the Air Force?
Hey, what I will tell you that I know about it is this is a way for us to bring airmen together, at least in the Air Force. And I love the fact that the Army and the Navy, I don't know if the Marines are doing it too, but this is a way to bring people together so that they're able to connect. I think it also builds upon camaraderie, resilience, and just good old fashioned competition. And that's a great thing.
Mhm.
especially during a time where we're in a pandemic where we can't necessarily connect physically, we can still connect socially. And so this is a win. And I love the fact that we're doing it.
Absolutely, ma'am. It's one of those things that when we first started esports, we were aware of the connectivity portion for airmen. We were aware that it builds resiliency, and we wanted to do it in person. And then COVID-19 really showed us that the ability to reach airmen where they're at, to not ask them to come out, but to meet them where they're most passionate and comfortable is super valuable. So you're absolutely
Absolutely.
spot on there, ma'am. I
Hey,
know that,
hey, real quick,
yes,
and
ma'am.
I'll tell you, I do think that, this is a way of the future. When we look at what airmen need to look like in 2030, 2040, and just the future airmen, myself and General Brown talk about it all the time. We need a multifunctional, multi-capable airman, and every airman in the future will be a digital airman. And so
Mhm.
this gets after the skills that we are looking for in the future. We just need more bases to get after this and to bring some of those skill sets out of our airmen.
Absolutely. That's such a good point to make, ma'am. It was something that echoes Lieutenant Matthew Morris when he worked on this program. He said something really good. Airmen of today enjoy esports. Airmen of tomorrow expect it. And if we want to get those airmen to bring them on board, this isn't something that is just like a side thing. This is integral to what we do as an Air Force. It hones right down to the goals that we want to achieve force wide. Uh, I know that you're aware of the military skills that go into to esports, things like adaptive decision making, quick reaction speeds, data processing, geospatial awareness, all that stuff like that. Can you tell me about maybe the future fight and where you see it going and how esports can facilitate that?
Absolutely. I'll tell you, the future fight probably will not look like anything that we've seen before. Our adversaries have been watching us for the last 20 years, and they understand our strengths, and that we know how to fight the fight downrange and out in the Middle East. So they're gonna, our adversaries will try to compete any way they can, whether that be through space, through cyber, or the information domain. And so again, I think things like this and strengthening the skill sets of digital airmen and airmen that are competent in the information domain is where we've got to be.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. And a little earlier, I remember hearing you speak about three types of wars that could possibly go on, and you phrased that so well. I was hoping you could reiterate that here.
Yeah, so I was talking about that the space domain and the cyber domain and the information domain. And bottom line, we've got to have airmen that are well versed into all of those things, especially our adversaries that'll be seeking out to give us disinformation. And so I say it all the time when I'm out talking to folks. He who wins in information is going to be the folks that win, and we've got to make sure that we are building on those things.
Absolutely, ma'am. And that's one of the things that really spoke to me about esports when I first learned about it. I originally came on board and we only saw the tip of the iceberg. And as we dug deeper and realized just the limitless potential esports in the Air Force has, we started to realize those things that you were saying, ma'am, that the skills that esports cultivates really are the skills of tomorrow's airmen. And investing that is super important. So I know that
Absolutely.
while the war fighting effort is incredibly obviously pertinent to what we do, we never want to forget the families. We never want to forget the airmen, the big A airmen who make up our Air Force. And esports obviously plays a role in that. Could you share some thoughts on how you see those aligning?
Absolutely. We talk about we recruit the airmen and we retain the families.
Mhm.
And so I think, anything again that can bring our Air Force family, which service member and our family members and our community, anything we can do to bring them together to be able to connect with each other is just where we make money. And so I see esports as a conduit to helping us to get after it. And,
Mhm.
and there's other things certainly we can do in the Air Force, but this is a great way to get after the future.
Yes, absolutely. It's really cool. Over the past year, I've been a part of this. I've seen spouses come together better. My wife and I actually started playing games together more as a result. It united me with my extended family. I saw that occur in many other people as well. I saw parents and kids unite better. I saw people form communities and bonds both locally and across the Air Force. Something that's really cool is when we first ran our first Rocket League event back in April, Sergeant Schwarzentrooper, who commentated this match, he actually placed second. But from there, he managed to recruit a bunch of other people who also weren't first place, and he trained them up. They were from 4 different squadrons on the same base, and they came back and crushed in the championship because of the bonds that esports facilitated with them. And that just to me is the most awesome thing ever.
I agree. I agree. So here's what I hope. I don't know if my family hopes this, but both my husband and my daughter are gamers. And here's my hope is that I would carve out some time. So this is where I need Chief Howell and my teammates to help give me some time so I can practice. Because I don't ever, just like General Brown, we don't like to do stuff in second place. We're all trying to win.
No.
But I actually drafted up a Christmas list, right? So I told
Really?
I did. So I told my husband, I said, here's my Christmas list. If I'm going to do this, if I'm going to be all in and I'm going to try to compete against somebody in Minot, the first thing I want for Christmas is I'm going to need some help with this from Santa, a cool gamer tag name. That's the first thing.
Okay.
Um, two, apparently I need like a gaming PC, right?
Yes.
My Mac probably isn't going to work, so I need that. And then three, I'm asking Santa for a Logitech G Pro X wireless headset. Then
You have good
four,
taste, ma'am.
thanks. Well, good. So four, I'm also asking for a Secret Lab gaming chair.
Okay.
And if
Getting
I've been
super serious with this.
like we got to all be all in, and then if I'm really really good, Santa's going to give me a good gaming keyboard and a mouse, and that way I can actually do what I need to do. So we'll see.
If
It's
Santa's
getting
super
a little
kind,
expensive already.
hey, price for perfection. There's no tag you can put on that. And then
Absolutely.
hopefully when Santa helps out with that, it's all RGB too, meaning it all lights up the beautiful different colors. There's plenty of communities who just engage just in that, which is awesome. Actually,
Absolutely.
that brings to mind, you're describing a lot of things that you require for your space. And when we're looking at esports, yes, we can do it virtually, but we
Yeah.
also want to see airmen come together. We want to see the in-person connectivity of esports. So would you be willing to share kind of your thoughts on that? You've mentioned visiting Minot, building your own physical setup in relation to your family. What are your thoughts on that, ma'am?
Yeah. Hey, big kudos to the 8 bases that are already supporting this and supporting their airmen and being able to do this. And post this pandemic, my hope is that all of us can get back to a place where we can physically connect with each other. There's something special about when we can do that. Whenever you're able to physically connect, and as well as that social connection, that's part of who we are, and that's part of what makes us so great, and that's part of that Air Force family. So my hope is that some of our bases can carve out some space where our airmen can actually do that, and have gaming facilities and
Mhm.
places where people can just again get together and build their resiliency, build that camaraderie, and just connect with each other.
You're so spot on, ma'am, and you share my passions exactly. Uh, to me, esports is good when you have force-wide presence, but a great application of esports is when it's an activity of passion by our airmen for our airmen. And
Yeah.
so the fact that a lot of bases have coordinated with like their airmen councils to build their centers, the fact that we would love to see across the Air Force someday where a group of airmen can build an interest-based club or work through their unit for a barbecue or do something like that by using the space of an esports center on a base. To me, I'm all for things like digital communication interaction. A lot of people see airmen in their dorms playing games as isolationists, and I get that they're connecting with people, that they're reaching out to their communities online. But there's something, and I think COVID has shown us this clearly, there is something about the in-person aspect of connectivity that cannot be denied. It cannot be supplemented. So I'm entirely with you there, ma'am.
I agree. Hey, here's the deal. I know that Minot is getting ready to compete against the Army. I know they're feeling hot right now, so I don't want that mojo to go away.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to get ready to close. I'll get ready to close this out, but let me just first say a couple things. As a daughter to an Army warrant officer and as a wife to an Army first sergeant, I want to give a big shout out to the Army for working with Air Force Esports and making this happen. It really shows again that innovation, resiliency, camaraderie extends between all of our service lines, and we are better together with each other. I hope to see other events in the future where you guys are cross pollinating with the Navy and whoever else is doing this. But this is just clean fun. But in the end, make no mistake, we don't go second place. So I'm going to need Minot to deliver and take home the W.
No pressure, though. None at
I
all
know, no
whatsoever.
pressure.
But that's how we do in the Air Force. We excel. So why not? Time to get good. So cool. Well, thank you very much for your time, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. I know your schedule is crazy busy, but we really appreciate it. It's awesome to have you with us tonight. And then if there's no further remarks from you, ma'am, then we're good to proceed to the next segment.
Absolutely. Hey, Kent Pena, thanks so much. It was great talking to you. And
Yes,
just
ma'am.
as much as I supported esports, everybody who's listening to this, I'm going to need you to watch that game tomorrow, Kansas City and the Raiders. Make sure make sure you know the team that the Air Force is rooting for. That would be Kansas City Chiefs.
Now I know who to cheer for, ma'am. So I really appreciate
Absolutely.
you nudging me in the right direction there.
Good deal.
Well,
Hey,
thank you
y'all
very
take care.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a pleasure having you. Sergeant Schwarzentuber, over to you.